Hello, I'm Lauren, and welcome to Improving the World. I'm an international improviser based in Hong Kong, and I talk to amazing women of improv all over the world. Today, I talked to Lena Breuer. I think I got that right, Germans. I practiced. Tell me if I got that right. She is, shocker I know, German and lives in Cologne. We talk about storytelling and the fact that she has noticed a lot of similarities in the protagonists and who is representing them and the kinds of stories we're telling generally. And she proposes change, and I support the change. I hope that you enjoy. We are talking today about storytelling and furthermore about inclusivity within the context of storytelling. I think this is fascinating with you because of the fact that you're an improviser and teacher, but also you're a journalist. I envision you with a magnifying glass all the time. I think journalists are sleuths. I think that you're like a child detective.
It's true. Yes, that's my main object of work.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So with that background, I feel like you probably have a really good eye for finding things that are funny and could be fixed and why they're happening and digging around. And let's talk first about where you are and the improv you've seen, the performing that you've done. We often flow, especially in cultures, into different roles and standards. What do you usually see in storytelling and in improv? Friends, the lag's gonna get better in just a minute. But for the meantime, let's all pretend it's radio, okay?
The improv scene in the improv community in Germany is very Keystone-Stonian. Our improv was born in the 70s, 80s, coming from the tradition of being very gamey and very fast theater sports. So that's the improv we have mostly in Germany. It's changing a bit, it's growing a bit, but that was also the improv where I dived into 10 years ago. Before doing improv, I came from classic theater, from acting, also from a drama school, which I quit after 1 year. I really strongly feel that the stories we see on stage, no matter if it's improv or classic theater, are always the same, because I think it's super normal, because we are living in a culture which is retelling stories all the time. Those are the same stories. If you look at the classic hero's journey, which is like the base of a lot of storytelling, structure and everything, I'm using it also in my workshops about storytelling because it's a good structure, but it's a male hero. And this is the base for so many stories in acting, in improv, in cinema, everywhere. And this is like the world, the cultural, the storytelling world we are living in and we are performing in. And it's heavily male-based. The hero is always male. If you look at classic plays from Shakespeare, the only female roles, characters you have are the princess and maybe, I don't know the word in English, the lady who's helping the princess in getting dressed. Two female roles you have, and the rest is male. Now you have Lady Macbeth, the only female strong character in Shakespeare, so far I know.
Do you think Viola is strong? I'm trying to think of a couple of ladies like Queen of the Fairies.
There are. I'm not an expert in Shakespeare. There are. To sum it up, I would say in a huge percentage of the stories we're telling, the hero and the story is about the journey of a male person. There are female roles about it, but also Lady Macbeth. It's about Macbeth. It's not about Lady Macbeth. She's a strong part of the story, but it's about him and his world and his problems.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to poke holes. I do hurt Shakespeare a little bit. Okay, but I hear what you're saying. I think as well, within the context of this conversation, it's particularly important, your perspective and where you come from, not to say that what you're saying is standalone in Germany, because I do think that what you're saying is very international. But let's talk specifically about where you are and your background. You did education in the performing arts for a period of time. Can you tell us about the statistics that are frankly institutionalized in the education system in terms of gender, are in the acting school and lead into the professional space?
This is just my personal experience. When I finished high school, the equivalent, it was 15 years ago, and I wanted to become an actress. And so in Germany, we have a very traditional system of drama schools, private drama schools, and we have the public ones, and the public ones are very strict, and it's very hard to get into it. So you have to go through several castings. So I was in this process. What they told me and us, all the people who went there, was that they will take 70% male students and 30% female students because they are following the market. The big theaters in Germany, if you look at the ensembles of the big classic theaters, theaters, you have 70% male actors and 30% female actors because of the roles of the plays, coming back to storytelling. Because in Shakespeare, in Goethe, in Schiller, most of the roles are male, they have more male actors. The unfairness, I don't know the correct term, already started with the process of getting into the acting school. I really was like, oh my God, I accepted it because it was like that and I was younger. But it was like, this will never change if we start already having this mathematics in the beginning of the career of people. And to be honest, 15 years ago, there wasn't a student at an acting school with a people of color background, with a migrant background. I have a friend, she is half black, so she's black. And she is an actress and she had bigger problems because they will just not take people of color with the same argumentation. It's like you will get problems in getting a job at a theater as an actress because of your skin color, because how can we do Romeo and Juliet with a black Juliet if the whole family is white? Like, and I've never experienced that because I'm white, but yeah, and that frustrated me. The competition was higher between the female actresses because if you only take less female actors, you need to be better. Yeah, not fair. I know, and I've heard a lot of stuff that it changed slightly and it's getting better because that was 15 years ago. I have my fingers crossed that there will be a change.
Yeah, now it's 31%, 69%. So it's totally cool now.
Probably, yes.
It does make me want to give a pretty solid slapping around to someone in admissions, at least someone from 15 years ago, if not people still now. And I think it's utterly hysterical,
especially within Shakespeare, because we started doing Shakespeare when I was a kid at school. Where I come from, forget all the rest of performing in theater and literally everything else. We always see Shakespeare as genderless, colorless, ageless, whatever. It's so funny because I only see Shakespeare that way. So this notion that you would have a nuclear family cast that all have to be the same color is mind-boggling to me and also not representative of humanity.
And also in Shakespeare, there's so much gender bending
written in that to play with that feels so easy. So it's crazy to me that institutionalizing it in the admissions space, because like you said, you're then carrying it forward. So here you are 15 years later, because you're a savvy, intelligent, international journalist, you look at that and you go, wait a second, what's happening? But what about the other 29% of people? Are they questioning it, or are they just taking it that they gotta fight their way if they're a woman, and if
you're black, you're screwed?
Yeah, I think they are taking it because, again, I can't talk about the actual situation in acting schools because I'm not there anymore. When I was 19, I took it because I wanted to become an actress and I wanted to become an actress at a big theater. I wanted it so hard and that was my dream. So I was taking it and I was like, okay, I need to be better, fight harder. And the stupid thing is, and that's also a thing in improv, that if you look at the people who go into acting classes as a hobby are mostly female. If you look at improv at the moment, my local community here in Cologne, the people who are coming to my classes, to my workshops, also to other workshops, they are, I would say, 60-70% female. Then going higher in the professionality, we're losing them. They are gone somewhere. We all live in this world and it's not bad. I'm not judging it. I also live in this world. It's so hard to recognize it, find allies and get the point of where you are or where I am saying, hey, wait a minute, that's not cool. It took me years. I'm raising my voice in this context since 3 to 4 years. It took me a while to also recognize this for me personally.
So I'm hearing you say that you want to change storytelling. We're coming back to storytelling. So, I mean, I could rant about higher education for quite a long time. Don't open that Pandora's box. What is it exactly that you want to change?
I think it's a huge chance that we have as improvisers. We are creating the stories on stage and we are our own directors, script writers, actors all the time. Even in structured improv, it's 100% us, and it should be. So we have the chance to change the stories on stage while doing our art. In small things, like why not having a cool gang of female firefighters saving the world and not talking about it? It's just like that. And why not the hero of the evening being a female character with a Turkish name? Because in Germany, the majority of migrant families or migrant background are from Turkey. Why not giving the character a name, Aisha or Fatima or whatever, just to have more diversity and just do it and not talk about it? It's not a thing. because this is our reality we're living in, so we can do that.
I think what you just said that's incredibly beautiful and feels for me even the most important is the not talking about it. There's something amazing about having something just be. In the power of letting it just be. Thank you, John Lennon, for the inspiration. In just the letting it be, we are inherently giving it more power by not having to unpack it on stage and talk about, oh, isn't it amazing that we're all women and we're saving the world? By creating the discussion on it, we're pointing out that it's not normal, but could be. By not doing that, and as you said, just letting it exist, it begins to make it more of this norm.
It's true. I think it's a process that we have to go through. Like my experience with all-female projects on stage are still kind of that there is the need to talk about it, which I totally think it's valid. And I was talking with a transgender improviser. I was talking with them. That's the correct term. It's difficult for a not native English to use it. I was talking with them about it, and my dream would be to have a show with a super diverse cast, gender, color, I don't care, age, everything, and just have a show, full stop.
Let it be a show.
And just have a great show. I think we still need a bit to get there. The last real show before this lockdown here in Cologne was a duo from Belgium/Romania/Germany, Ben Hartwig and Donna Ursu. They did a long form film noir. It was awesome. And it was great because they switched gender. So Ben, the male actor, was the homme fatale. Donna was the classic hero of a film noir detective. They just did it. It was super fun and good. I heard the audience talking about it. It was a bit strange for them, but on the other hand, they saw it. They were like, oh, that's interesting. They were starting to, it was a little, but it worked for them. That's the thing I want to do more.
We're talking about what is currently normal or what is happening and what we want to see and how we make that. So other than getting a job at a university and bringing in all of the women who are not white, or I don't know, what are you doing from your place of power and your abilities, your seat in this life right now to try to make change in this space?
Changing the world every day. What I'm trying to do is raise awareness in anywhere where I am, any kind of ensemble and project I'm working with. So I have this project with a lot of wonderful other international women, and this is a huge part of where I put my energy. We have panel discussions, for example, which is unusual for improvisers, but we do it to raise the awareness. I'm trying always in my workshops when I teach, but also when I'm a participant, to raise my hand when I see something, try to be friendly, but to be like, hey, look, this is difficult for me because I had a wonderful stage project with two girls who are refugees, non-improvisers, and two German colleagues of mine, Julia and Crystal. We went to Impro Amsterdam, which is one of the biggest festivals in Europe, and did a show with them, which was super experimental because being on stage with non-improvisers was right. But I wanted to have a refugee story on stage. To be honest, this was the first time in my life that I've seen an actress with a hijab on an improv stage in Europe, and I'm traveling a lot. You just don't see them. And they are there, so we need to hear their stories. I can't tell them because these are not my stories, and especially about being a refugee and having a very difficult background story. I don't feel capable to tell them, but I can provide the space to bring them on stage. That's what I can do, and I want to do that. It's raising awareness in any time I'm trying to do that. And at the moment, I'm producing the ImproFest online, which is a never-ending festival loop due to coronavirus online. And now I'm in the position to create also lineups. So I really try to be aware of having a diverse lineup of teachers, any kind of diversity, which is not easy sometimes because we're doing 2 festivals every week and you have to really contact people and everything, but I'm trying to have an equal number of male and female improv teachers every week. It's not working every week, but we we already had some editions where there was a majority of female teachers. I'm trying to keep the balance, just bringing more female actors on stage.
I heard what you said. It is as much the ownership of the person doing the casting. This is coming back to the admissions in the school, right? You trying to find teachers, source them, reach out, make sure that there's diversity, as it is a job for the people who want the roles. It could be that the people with the loudest voice or who know about it. It's not just the job of the actors to make sure that they apply or the teachers to make sure that they put their hand up to teach, but it's everybody. So pointing at cool people and going, that one, take that one, that's my pal, whatever. And I love the other thing that you said. You are helping to create a platform and a space for someone so that they can tell their story, which is essentially giving the protagonist voice to someone who might not otherwise have it. Because if all of the plays, as you said, are written and primarily intended for men, whatever color they are, you're helping to create new stories, something that maybe can then be retold or inspire something else. This power of a protagonist really is more than just, like dun dun dun, the story itself, but it's the ripple effects from it and from that visibility that we grant to that actor or character.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm failing all the time. That's why it's so important to gain allies around you. I have a duo with a wonderful male improviser from Germany, which I love so much. He's the best. We had a show. The suggestion from the audience was being a pilot. So the first move I did was becoming the stewardess. And I was like, fuck, what am I doing there? I was the one, because I also grew up with this gender stereotypes. I can't get rid of it in a second. It's not possible. My 34 years of life, I grew up in airplanes. I'm not growing up in airplanes. But I had flights where all the stewardesses are female and all the pilots are male. So this is my cultural background, also my reality background. And it's so important because it was him, it was Nick, my partner, starting the second scene, being also a steward. So we had a scene between stewardess and steward. He was the one who was doing this on stage and being like, okay, let's not do the classic stewardess pilot love scene, which we have all the time. I'm aware of this too, and I'm helping her out because she failed in this kind of it's not easy to get rid of this. It will take a lot more years and everything. But that's why I really think it's so important to talk about it, like what you do, Lauren. It's so important because talking about it over and over and over again is creating awareness and also finding allies who can help you. Like in improv, you're not alone on stage.
Yeah. I mean, and you're so right. If nothing else, I've already seen that story improvised 20 times. So if nothing else, let's just create a different story, people. All right. Please tell me, what are your words of wisdom? Speak to the younger version of you, to your improv community peers. Yeah, get yourself ready. Here we go. To the literally billions of people watching this. What do you want them to know?
That's a lot of pressure. We as improviser, we have a voice and we can use them on stage. We have a powerful voice because we are creating stories, characters, everything in the moment. So let's use it. Let's not fall into stereotypes. Let's not do the shit that everybody was doing for the last 2,500 years in culture. Let's do different stuff. We have a voice and let's use it. That's what I wanted to say. Yeah.
I support this. Lovely. Most importantly, how can people find you or the work that you're doing? The online festivals that you do, or they are in the region, in the area, they're enjoying some white wine and they're thinking to themselves, you know what? I desperately need improv.
At the moment, I spend the most time with the Improv Fest Online. You can find us on Facebook under this name, Improv Fest Online. Also under www.improvfestonline.com. We have weekly workshops, say, in English and German. If this corona is ending someday, you'll find me in Cologne. The name of the company I have is Impro Köln with an umlaut. Just find me on Facebook. Lena, Breuer, I'm there.
Perfect.
And my journalism work is mostly in German. If you're German, you can find it also.
Well, I do have some pretty killer gibberish German, but I think that is not going to fly for more than a couple seconds. Auf der lieben Sveinen Hode black defeated. I think you understood what I said.
Thank you. Yes.
Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. It was lovely to hear from you, get to talk to you. Please wave at clearly I'm gagging for some wine. Please wave at the vineyards for me if possible. Yeah.
I will.
Thank you all for joining us. I'm Lauren. This is Improving the World, and there's more where that came from. Bye, all.
Bye.
So, did you love the video? If you did, please say kind and wonderful things in the comments down below. And you could subscribe if you're feeling sassy and look for more Improving the World. Thanks.